Wow, welcome to Sisters-in-Law, our evening session.
Yes, our evening session. Sisters-in-Law coming to you not live but we are a tape show today, and we have a lot of hot topics to discuss. Me and my Sarah to quasi decide to take a more relaxed view in these very turbulent times, as not to minimize anything that's going on. But we're a little stressed out about all that seems to be popping
stress.
in the news.
You know what you do on stress? You actually have to sit back, relax, and they say, God bless America.
Yes. God bless
Because
America.
right now, only God can help us.
Yes.
This is we're going to do. I have like two things I had spoken to. I'm Judge T and Sora
Rosalind Charles
and Sisters-in-Law, and one of the things I think we were talking about. I think everybody is talking about the Comey hearings. I'm going to hit this real quick because these Comey hearings are going to be going on for quite some time.
Well, his testimony is over. I mean, but they're going to be talking about the substance of his testimony for a long time.
The testimony is over. Comey gave up the name of a Columbia law professor that he had given his the transcript to.
Or his notes.
His notes. The notes were then contemporaneous notes were then read to the Times. They didn't give them up.
All righty.
In 24 hours, the notes were requested from him
by
the Congress and the Senate, and he has actually replied, but he has yet to give up the notes. He had until today to give up the notes, and he hasn't given up the notes. And this is the thing that I think that I've listened to the news all week, and I don't know why people are being either intentionally ignorant or they are just not talking about what's the obvious. One, remember the letter from the Attorney General and the Assistant Attorney General says that they were recommending Comey to be fired because how he treated Hillary Clinton. Now we know that,
and in some they were trying to say that he had somewhat politicized the office, and and was grandstanding on certain levels because he had taken it upon himself to be both investigator and prosecutor and making ultimate decisions with conclusions to the law. But that's what the memo suggested.
Let me suggest to you why that doesn't make any sense. One, he wasn't president. Two, he wasn't even at that time.
But you're saying why he was fired, it doesn't make sense. Not so much what the substance of the memo said.
That is like us saying that while Donald Trump was out in his private position saying that President Obama was not an American. Oh, no, but that's not illegal. But to say that President Obama tapped Trump Towers is illegal.
Right.
So you're accusing President Obama of doing something illegal.
Right.
But you're not yet president. We only have one president at a time.
Correct.
At the time when Comey actually did this, said he had something after he had looked at Uma Abedin's husband Weiner's laptop, and then he had to roll it back. If he found something good, bad, or indifferent, and when he said something and took it back, neither was Donald Trump president, Hillary Clinton wasn't president, Sessions wasn't attorney general. So you're retroactively saying that he did something illegal.
Well, let me just say this. I hear what you're saying, and but granted, let's just make this analogy. I'm an employer. I'm assessing all of my employees, and I take a look at their file, and I find something in their file that happened before I actually became the boss. I might be able to retroactively make a decision.
It would be just as legal because Beauregard has to know he doesn't work for 45.
Right.
If Beauregard is going to make such assessment, then he has to assess that 45 did just as illegal by accusing the President of the United States of wiretapping.
We know that he's not going. That would be a pure society. That we're just talking about Donald Trump and his administration looking at the employees of the current administration. So
Again, the reason why it's all malarkey, so I don't have to use a bad term, because I will say it's bullshit.
Yes. Now,
Anyway, the reason why I say it's disingenuous. When
Well,
Lester
I will
Hall
agree with you
did
on that
his
one.
interview with 45,
Yes.
45 said that he let Comey go because he wouldn't let go of the
Well,
Russia
there have
thing.
been multiple reasons why the 45 has said that he let go of Comey, and I was just assessing them individually. But together, we don't know why he let Comey go, except that he let him go.
But this is
but
the
he
thing
put
that
out
makes
a number
it,
of lies.
But this is what makes it ridiculous.
Yes.
The one question that was asked of Comey, out of all of the questions that he asked and answered,
Yes.
he said he has never had a conversation with 45 about Russia. Ever.
Okay.
He said the only president that he spoke to about Russia was President Obama.
Okay.
He said the only question with regards to Russia that he had with 45 was that now this is what people are confusing. What he was asking Comey to come out and say before the public, not that he had any involvement with any collusion.
Right. He wanted him to come out and say, I'm not under investigation. The 45 wanted
Not about collusion. This is what people are confusing, because he never talked to Comey about collusion. The only conversation that Comey had with 45 is whether when he was in Russia, he was having sex with prostitutes in Moscow. That's the only thing that Comey said that 45 ever discussed with him. He said
So
never.
So Flynn never came up.
The Flynn issue is something else.
Uh-huh.
But personally, as to 45 acts, was he under investigation? And what Comey says is that, he said he wanted him to give him some allegiance. He said, I can't pledge any allegiance to you. What I will pledge is to be honest.
Right.
So,
Well, loyalty. That was a specific word.
and this is the crazy part. If I tell my daughter, I hope that damn room is clean, that is not, when I pass by your room, if it's clean, it's clean. If it's not, it's not.
Right.
No, when I say, I hope that room's clean, coming from mommy, she knows that she better scuttle butt behind in that room.
Oh, you use the word hope.
This is-
Hope.
And we all know,
Hope and change.
girl, when you say, I hope I passed that exam,
Right.
you're not saying, if I passed it, I passed it. If I didn't, I didn't.
So
So
now we're going back.
minimizing.
We're going. Well, I don't know.
We're conflating.
We're not minimizing. We are.
We are.
I think
but
we're
I think
minimizing.
what a lot of the news are doing is conflating words and only making it mean something when they want it to mean something.
Well, that's the media, be it mainstream, be it the liberal side of the media or the conservative side of the media. The media in general, when they put on these news shows, and I'm talking about cable news, not necessarily your local news, but they're all part of some kind of infotainment. So you got the headline, the only headline that came out of, or not the only one, but one of the major headlines that came out of Comey's testimony was, the president, Comey said the president lied. Now, he did say that. But that was over the course, he said that 2-3 times in a short period of time over the course of a 3-hour testimony that Comey said. And every hour and every minute, Comey was not saying that the president lied. He was saying a whole lot of things that suggested, of course, that the president lied.
I take deference to the Republicans and the trumpets saying that give him a break because he's not politically astute. Dude, if you're going to apply for a job as a surgeon in a hospital and then you don't know how to conduct surgery, and somebody actually elect you to be head surgeon.
Well, that was the Speaker of the House.
No, that was 34% of the population.
Really? They said
because when people are being questioned,
They
they're
said
like,
that on
let
Friday?
him do. I'm talking about the public. Mm-hmm. We cannot give him a pass because he does not understand politics. You chose to have a position in politics. So either you surround yourself with good politicians who can properly school you on how Washington goes, because you know what? Yes, we all that in New York in a bag of chips, but D.C. is a whole nother can of worms.
The point of Trump's candidacy, as well as the fact that he's now president, is that he wants to drain the swamp and change the way Washington does things.
Honey, them gators will eat him up.
I think they are chewing
He don't
hard right now.
understand.
Yes.
Hey, look,
So
you
that was the
them
whole-
some
that's the
Norland
whole
gators
point.
over there in D.C.
So I don't
they
nec-
will eat him up.
I don't necessarily think that they need to be making that excuse for him, because the point of he was allegedly a change agent, if you will.
We heard that foolishness.
Yes, yes.
But this is the other thing that happened. We're gonna leave that alone because
Okay.
we're gonna be talking about that for months. Over the weekend, there were, and I'm not going to give them the decency of just naming them because they're ignorant. There were groups that had marches on Washington against Sharia law.
Yes.
Now, we understand, only thing that we understand, because most of us who are talking about Muslims aren't Muslim. So we don't understand all of the intricacies of what Islam.
Well, I'll be the first to say that I have not studied Islam. I am only familiar with Islam through my friends who happen to be Muslim,
right?
And some of the reading that I've indeed done, because I'm curious, just like you are.
But see, this is.
And these marches weren't just down Washington; they were all over the country.
They were all over the country.
But note that also there were counter marches. There were marches against Sharia law and marches
giving people the
saying
right. But you may not
but
believe in
let's
it.
talk about what, to the extent that we know what Sharia law is.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, if in England they have Sharia law courts, but those laws only apply to Muslims. So I don't know what the big. We have various
courts
ecclesiastical courts in the United States.
We have courts in the United States that only apply to Native Americans.
Right.
Because their culture is different. Because when we came, and when not we, because we weren't on the Nina, the Pina, and the Santa Maria.
Right.
When the Mayflower and all them rolled over here.
But other
and
religious
stole-
groups also have their individual courts.
But
And that
see-
doesn't mean that every dispute is handled within that court.
For
but
instance,
if there's something that happens
Jews
within the
have
church.
gets within their marriage and divorce.
Right.
Gets aren't necessarily recognized in the U.S. courts. Gets are recognized, however, in the Jewish religion.
Right.
We don't go and tell the Jews that your gets do not comport with American laws. There different kind of ceremonial things within the Mormon faith.
Correct.
They don't drink brown coffee or dark drinks like Coca-Cola, smoke cigarettes, all of those things. But let's say that those are the unusual ones that we don't know the facts to. We've had many, many fights over whether Jehovah's Witnesses, with their belief in not giving blood transfusions to children and them not having a right to say so. The one comparison with Islam that I want a lot of you so-called Christians to snap on a little bit. Just think about how Muslim women dress, and think about how nuns dress.
Okay, but so the way that Muslim women dress is part of Sharia law, because is it part of Sharia law? Because my understanding of Sharia law is the tenets that occur within.
But
the,
see, that's
the
what I'm
Quran,
saying. People are ignorant, so the parts that they talk about really have nothing to do with Sharia law. I hear them saying, "Oh, the women have to cover themselves, and their eyes are covered." If you look at how nuns have their,
Right,
they
so
have
why don't we
laxed over
talk
the
about
years.
the little bit that we do know
Right.
about Sharia law? Why don't we talk about that they are religious tenets, almost akin to, if you will, the Ten Commandments. And most of our laws within Western society are built on Judeo-Christian principles.
But see, that's the bull crap.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
You almost went there.
No,
You went smartly there.
when the. And you know what? I keep. I have a problem with that whole founding fathers thing. The white males that wrote the Constitution.
Yes.
First of all, they were mostly atheists.
Yeah.
This country was not built on Christian
I
values.
agree.
So that nonsense, we really need to stop saying it. What they said was there should be no establishment of religion and the rights thereof. What that means is that no one should have to have a religion or any particular religion and should have the right to not have religion.
All right.
That's what that means.
Well, the marches that were taking place over the weekend, over various parts of the country, anti-Sharia law, pro or being inclusive to all people, the answer to those laws, both of them were there exercising their constitutional rights, their right to assembly.
But see, this is the thing, the crazy part that just
Their freedom of
absolutely
expression.
blows my mind. How can you be marching about something that you ain't got, that nothing has to do with you? If you're not Muslim.
Well, I think that's the problem. Those individuals, maybe, I don't really know what they're thinking, but I'm thinking that they believe that Sharia law will be imposed on the entire country.
Oh, come
as
on.
As
That's
opposed
like
to,
me saying
as
that.
opposed to,
That's just
because
like
they're certainly not standing up for other
You know
Muslims.
how many
And when we say
denominations
they,
of
those
Christianity
folks, those that
there
are
are?
marching are primarily of a certain Aryan
All right, let me roll this out on you a little bit. Okay, we who call ourselves Christians, okay, I'll speak for the Baptists, the Methodists. We're still waiting on Jesus to come. Jews, they don't even recognize Jesus as any more than a prophet
Correct.
and a good man. And some of them, I saw interviews.
So does Islam. So does Islam.
So again, we got two entirely different beliefs. They believe up to the New Testament. We believe from the New Testament to Revelations.
Correct.
Okay, and then even among those who believe in the New Testament to Revelations, Catholics, for instance, as far as me being a Baptist. I go to Methodist church, but I was grown Baptist. You bow down to no one but Christ, meaning when you get on your knees, you pray to no one but God.
Correct.
However, Catholics kiss the ring of the Pope. Now,
there are various issues within
the Bible
all sects
also
of
says,
Christianity.
even if you go in the Ten Commandments, that you shall bow down to no idols.
I don't
Saint
dispute
this,
it.
Saint that,
I
Saint
don't
the other.
dispute any of
You
that.
go to
And I
Italy,
don't
they
think-
got
is
more
that
statues
what the march
than
is
enough.
about?
But this is my whole problem.
Yeah.
If you're going to march, let's have our outrage be consistent. Let
You know
our
what this-
outrage be
You
consistent.
know why the outrage is not consistent? Because we have a president, the 45th, who seeks to have a Muslim ban. So these particular groups feel free.
First of all, this man is not even a Christian.
The 45th has normalized, if you will, or at least trying to normalize some kinds of hate action, hate speech, so that the individuals
You know
who
what?
marching
you know
against feel comfortable.
Who should I be saying like shame on you? Liberty University, shame on you.
What about Liberty
Shame
University?
on you.
What happened?
Liberty University having the 45th come there and pretending to be a Christian and forcing their entire
how did he
student
pretend to be
system.
a Christian?
Because
'Cause
he
I didn't
goes
see
there,
it.
he starts it when he gave his speech at Liberty University.
Yes.
He starts reading some verse out of the Bible, and he made sure that he must have used a lexicon to find somewhere where the word liberty was used, and then people started, oh, you like that, huh? Yeah.
Well,
That's
he opens
full.
many of his rallies with prayer. He'll have a minister.
He
who'll
ain't never
come.
prayed, never.
I've just seen.
I have
I've
never seen the
him
man
open
pray.
his rallies. Not necessarily him himself, but he'll have a. I mean, let's go back to Florida a few months back when Melania started opening with us.
The
with
Lord's Prayer while he was walking around?
Well, I'm just saying.
Just saying. At the Arlington Cemetery, one of the most solemn ceremonies that you can attend.
All right, so that's when was this?
This was
Memorial
Memorial Day.
Okay.
All the generals and everybody who have family who are there. That he laid a wreath on the unknown soldier. Everybody who are Gold Star families, they're singing the Star Spangled Banner. They're standing there solemn, still, as taps is being played, and this fool is rocking. Oh, don't even know the words.
Well, he had the
Don't
spirit.
even know the words. You know that spirit is.
Anyway.
Look on. I tell you where the spirit is. Go to 666 Fifth Avenue, the building owned by Trump's son-in-law. Now, I already put on our
We're
site.
talking about Kushner.
Go to Revelations 13:7.
He's having intimate conversations
So
with the FBI.
all
also.
of you of so-called Christians who are so Bible belting it, go to 13:7 and see what God says about the government and the 666. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna hit that and get off.
We're done?
No.
Oh,
I'm just hitting that.
we're
You know,
not-
I said,
I
no, I'm going to hit
wanted
that
to say
666.
Instagram,
Because, you
YouTube,
know
what do you
why?
want to say?
Because when President Obama was in office, if that man was not called the Antichrist 99,000 times,
Yes.
with nothing to relate to it, and I'm not saying that even the 45th, you know, I can't stand the 45th. But I'm
don't
not
think
even
he's the
saying
Antichrist.
I'm not saying that he's the Antichrist, but if you want to start bringing association without any connection, at least you can bring association with only one family owns the most expensive real estate in all of the United States of America on Fifth Avenue. 666 Fifth Avenue belongs to the Kushner family and Donald Trump's daughter.
Well, that's
so
assuming
I'm just saying.
you ascribe to that
Look,
that
I'm
that
just
kind of imagery.
I'm just
that
going
imagery,
to the
you know,
tomfoolery for a minute. Just I'm hanging out in tomfoolery land with the rest of the tomfooleries. But I'm like I said, I'm gonna hit that and get off because I am not God. So therefore, I'm not going to subscribe such power that I know I do not have. But some every now and then when they throw in, I mean,
Who's they?
I'm going to say the right and the left.
The right and the left.
The right
okay.
and the left.
Well, I think that those are the two extremes, and you know what? But
yeah.
you know what? Just circling back to Comey for a minute.
Yeah.
He didn't help anybody on that side.
Woo, baby, he threw Loretta Lynch under the bus.
He threw. Yes, he
had no look.
He
He
did
had-
not
he had no
confirm.
sides,
He
no
did not
sides.
confirm on any way that maybe just maybe the 45th obstructed justice. He did not in any way give any kind of credence to the fact that there was any evidence of collusion, if you will, with the Trump campaign. He didn't say it didn't happen, but at least up until the point. I'm just
When
wondering
they
where is
asked-
all
no,
of
no,
this
no,
going?
wait a minute.
You know, we've
They
been talking
asked
about
him-
this. We've been talking about this for a few months now.
Sorora. They asked him,
Yes.
do you think the President of the United States colluded with Russia? His answer clearly was, I don't think that I should make that answer in an open forum.
Well, I think he was similarly asked in other
We
don't
know what they said in a closed forum.
No, we don't know what he said. What he said in a closed. We don't even know if they had a closed forum.
No,
quite
they did.
frankly.
No, yes, they did.
But
They did.
But I mean, this is the second or third time that Comey has testified before an investigative body within the Congress, and when asked the ultimate question, he always hedges.
No, I don't think he hedges. He knows. See, this is what 45. When you first of all, you gonna come in my world. Look, this is what the FBI is saying. You know what? You coming in my world, you just a squirrel trying to get a nut. We own the whole nut tree.
Well, let me just say this. 45 came into office denigrating the intelligence community and dogging the media. And it would just appear to me that I'm not saying there's no substance to this Russia thing. I think there are an extraordinary amount of coincidences. Extraordinary. However, I do believe that this investigation is being fueled by both the intelligence community and the media. So, it's like called karma.
But this is
But it's disrupting the country, and this
and
is what
all
we're
of
conscious.
you who say that, you know what, I'm just worried about whether I can pay my mortgage at the end of the month,
concerns.
and your everyday concerns. Yes, I do believe that those are everybody's
We're
concerns.
not talking about jobs.
Infrastructure.
Yes.
Any
We're
of
not
that.
talking
I
about
was
moving the
looking
country.
at a bridge in West Virginia that has been under construction that will basically, it's like over 200 or 300 miles long. This bridge has been under construction for 30 years.
Okay.
And it's still
There must
incomplete.
be
Everybody,
regulations and red tape.
it is a lot of red tape. But while y'all are trying to get into the coal mines, maybe y'all want to get into construction and help build that bridge. Because even though Trump keeps bragging about opening up coal mines, as I said to you the other day, and when my co-host, I probably looked on to YouTube and said, "What is my partner doing this morning?" Y'all,
You know, she just
y'all
happens to go. I'm gonna start picking up the camera, just talking about stuff.
I busted a gasket
just gets-
at the gym. Listening to this, I said, Lord, I just needed to just release my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
But see, this is the issue. They are right now tearing down healthcare,
Yes.
tearing down all of the civil rights issues that President Obama was able to put in by executive order. And really, we don't know what kind of health care we're going to end up with. And the very likelihood is nothing is going to happen to health care at all. But what he is doing is putting Americans in into a fantasy land. And I
You
think
mean the 45th is putting Americans into a
he's
in
making
what
them
regard?
believe that he's doing something that he's not doing, and that if it doesn't get done, it's because the liberals didn't allow it to get done. No, it's not getting done because he hasn't used the correct channels in order to have things done appropriately. If it took President Obama, well, basically from Hillary Clinton through 3 other presidents to President Obama and in almost 8 years of his term to get something together within healthcare, I don't know why he thought he was going to be able to come in
That's part of the
in
point.
2 months.
I don't know why he thought that either. However, again, that's how he ran, saying that
but
there
more
was too much
importantly-
regulation, too much form over substance.
But
that form and that substance has to deal with the separation of powers and how Washington runs.
But the Republicans have had 8 years, going on 9 years. If they had a substitution in place, that
Well, they
substitution would be in place
Of course.
and would be used by
Well,
now.
they can't agree either.
But so that's
Just like there are many sects within the Muslim community, there are many sects within the Republican.
and Democrats too.
True,
Because you
true.
know what, I got to go back to my original problem with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, as far as I was concerned, it's not that I didn't think Bernie Sanders had some really good, very, very leftist ideas. Bernie Sanders was not a Democrat. Bernie Sanders was an independent. And I think he infiltrated the Democratic
Some
Party
people
for
call
his
him a
own
socialist.
Socialist, whatever. They called President Obama socialist, but President Obama was always and has been a Democrat. Bernie Sanders right now is not in Congress or the Senate as a Democrat. He's there as an independent.
All right.
Okay.
Didn't
As
know
soon
that.
as he got out of office, somebody asked him, whether he was going to caucus with the Democrats. He says, "I'm not a Democrat." So if you weren't a Democrat, why did you run as a Democrat? So I have a problem
Because he knows that independents don't typically get
But
nominations.
but you know
and
what?
a third party is
but
not.
at
is
least
normally
one
not
thing
a
you could say by
successful
Paul
way to
Ryan
move
and
forward.
all of them, they ran as in independents. They stayed independent. And women, actually, Paul Ryan did jump into as a Republican for the purpose of running. And you know
Paul
what?
Ryan?
No,
The House Speaker?
not Paul Ryan. What's the one that his father ran? Paul.
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul. That's why I
But
can never remember.
he's always been a Republican, but he
His father
espouses.
was an independent.
No, his
father was,
father,
and
I
he ran
think-
as an independent.
I thought his dad was also a Republican, but he always espoused libertarian views. Yes.
But see, the thing with Bernie Sanders was an independent.
okay.
And although he caucused with the Democrats, he was not a Democrat. And so if you really thought you could win, and all the people who wanted to support him, you could have supported him. You should have supported him as an independent, which is what he is. But that is over. It's done with. Hillary lost. Bernie
I
lost.
said
and
before,
we
let's
have
stop
45.
talking about the election.
But see,
because
you know what?
We gonna talk. Let's move forward.
I'm trying to move
but
forward, but
the
every-
45th can't move forward because he may or may not have colluded with the Russians.
You
So
had
we
the-
got all
you
these
had the
investigations.
Senate still asking Comey about Hillary Clinton.
Of course, nobody can move forward.
They keep
So,
telling her to stop talking about
while-
it, but they won't stop talking about it.
While all of this is going on, what's getting done?
Nothing.
Who's
Nothing.
suffering as a result of it? The American people. So maybe we need to concentrate
Everybody's
on
gonna
some-
need to get a glass of wine and
Yes.
sit back and
So
relax yourself.
maybe we need to concentrate on local politics.
Yes.
Maybe we need to.
My man Phil Murphy won.
yes, the New Jersey.
Yes.
He is
He's
now
going to be the Democratic candidate,
Right.
the gubernatorial candidate. He's going to
For
run
New Jersey.
against
Kim
Giordano, who was the
Guadano. Guadano.
Don't matter to me. I'm not voting for her, so I don't even need to know her name.
Well-
But she was the attorney, the lieutenant governor under Christie.
Well, I think the interesting question is going to be who has or who will Murphy and/or Kim pick as a lieutenant governor,
That's
or
going
at
to
least
talk
as
about who both of they are.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that's precisely what it's going to say. I know that there are.
I have
number
some
of-
names in my head that I'm not
I'm not going to name
I'm
any
not
either.
going to put out there right now. Some that I know I will absolutely
And
support.
you know, there was Jim Johnson,
Uh-huh.
who won, who who lost but ran for the Democratic
Yes. Him
gubernatorial. Wisnicki.
Wisnicki.
Right.
But
Well,
Wisnicki got more votes. Than
actually,
you did.
Johnson got more.
Oh, Johnson did.
Johnson
Okay,
got
Johnson
few
got more.
thousand more, but he got more. He made a very good showing. So the issue now becomes, what's he gonna do with all that? And
Well,
we
guess what?
talked about.
Jim Johnson won South Orange.
Of course he did. Of
Yes,
course he did.
I
And
live
he
in South
probably
Orange.
won.
And I live in South Orange.
Yes,
South Orange
yes.
is a very independent town, honey. South Orange ain't, we're
Well,
one of those-
rumor has it that although we may have been talking about the fact that he was late in the race and he had no chance to win.
Oh, he showed he had some power.
But maybe that the governor's office was really not where he is looking. He was just testing the waters.
Mm-hmm.
And in so testing the waters, he had a substantial showing. He came in second. I don't know, you might be seeing a run for Congress. You might be seeing a run for Senate. You might be seeing something even more local, like a
let me
county
tell you
executive.
something. County executive would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is Jim Johnson to me, I read about him, his family, his background,
Yeah.
and all that. Jim Johnson
He's
didn't
an
impress
Obama
me.
appointee.
Yeah. Well, so was Murphy.
Yeah. He was an
So-
you
so
know, one's a
he-
one's a multi-billionaire, that being Murphy, and
well-
Jim Johnson's of ordinary means.
Ordinary means. Are you kidding me?
Is he a billionaire?
He ain't a billionaire.
Is he a millionaire?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's ordinary.
Yeah.
He ain't a billionaire.
Oh, not many people are billionaires.
Mm-hmm,
Okay. Yes.
My point exactly.
But,
I guess
but,
my,
but let me
my
tell
point
you
is that the
something.
1% seems to be running
If,
for office, buying elections.
I can tell you
and
how
moving
many
forward.
times that Phil Murphy came to South Orange, and he lives in South Jersey. Jim Johnson lives in Montclair, one town over. I never seen him in South Orange once. Now I
But he
seen
won
sound.
South Orange. How'd that happen?
Well,
he was
because-
going door to door.
No, his folk.
Well,
were
that's still going door to door.
And if I might say, none of his folk looked like me. He black,
Well-
but nobody that came to my door. Now, so I mean, maybe
Well,
he's
you know-
multiracial because his wife is white. But
Well, what are you
that
saying?
has,
Because Phil Murphy is. He
all white.
He don't look like you either.
but he came to my door.
Oh, he came to your door.
He came to my
Okay.
house.
He came to your house.
and came, and I was able to have a one-on-one and sit down with him. And I ain't nobody.
You didn't tell me he came to your house. When did this
Well,
happen?
I'm just
you
saying-
don't tell me everything.
You know what?
Yeah,
we have some secrets we have to keep. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is that there is a opportunity that
So
everybody
if Jim had come
has.
to your door, you might change your tune.
If he had come and spoke to me, and I mean, he don't have to come personally to my house. And if he had given me an invitation to listen to him and hear him,
Well, why don't you
like I
just go
got-
to him? Why do you need an invitation? Like a what? Like
well, then look, he wants my vote.
Right.
He wants my vote.
But he can't. But he sent his folks to your door.
They didn't tell me nothing.
They just handed you some papers?
2 years later, I'd already been speaking to the folks with Phil Murphy for 2 years.
Interesting.
Now I did. No, I did. I do. Look. I invite Jehovah's Witnesses in, so you know me. I let everybody in if you got something to say and to hear what you got
I
to
will
say.
say that I act like there's nobody home.
No, they came today, honey. I have them running out my door
It's
like
not because
crazy,
I
honey.
have
Going
anything
looking for a
against them. It's just
supervisor.
I just don't. I'm not necessarily looking for a
No, you want to come
conversation.
and talk about the Lord, you need to know what you're talking about. But that's a whole nother thing.
Yes,
but it's the same thing with the Jim Johnson folks. If you cannot answer my questions,
Oh, you asked them a bunch of questions.
yes, absolutely.
Oh, and they couldn't answer the questions.
No.
And Murphy was able to answer your questions.
He was able to
Oh.
answer the questions that I asked and the questions that he voluntarily wanted to give as to what he was going to do.
What is he going to do?
Well, see, my thing is that everybody makes promises. It's not until you actually get into office
course,
that
but
you
what
see
did he- what's
changes
it-
is made.
what
my
does
thing
he
is,
said he's gonna do?
Well, for instance, we're if the 45th goes and gets his opportunity to go and allow states to have their own mandation of health care, he is assuring one that the health care will cover all pre-existing otherwise. He is supporting Planned Parenthood, which is
Okay.
one thing that's if people who've heard me speak know that I'm very, very supportive.
Well, again, the
of Planned
governor
Parenthood.
in this state, as in most states, has to work with the legislature,
Exactly.
and it just so happens that whatever he says isn't necessarily going to happen.
Decriminalizing marijuana. Not that I'm a marijuana necessarily a supporter, but I do
A lot of
believe
folks
that
have,
there
yeah.
is a
It's nice out here,
disproportionate
but
number
it's some
of African Americans who have gotten long sentences
Okay.
with regards to marijuana, really under the Clinton administration and beyond, and is disproportionate with those
What's
with
he going to do about property
mostly.
taxes?
And that was one of the other things.
I mean,
property.
Christie
Someone
for 8
actually
years said he was going to do something about property taxes.
Someone
and nothing
actually
happened.
sent in a question to Sean Spicer. Sean Spicer, in his attempt to try to go around the media
All right,
that
so
was
now
there.
we're back in D.C.
No,
so-
no, 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 no.
Okay.
A question came from New Jersey
From New
legislation.
Jersey, okay.
From via satellite,
Okay.
asking what was Trump going to do, because Trump has several properties here in the state of New Jersey.
Right.
Here in New Jersey,
Well, the only reason
we
that's
pay the
pertinent-
highest property taxes
Right.
in the country.
And Trump's tax reform wants to
Own-
eliminate the property tax deduction.
And so you
Okay.
won't get anything back for
Right.
owning property.
Right.
So-
well, at least in the state of New Jersey. But
Wait a
you
minute,
move to
we
North-
pay the most taxes, but you
Why
don't get
is
nothing
that?
back.
Why is that?
Please,
Phil Murphy, if you should become the governor, and I suspect that you will, why do we pay the highest property taxes?
but let me tell you something.
What?
At least, at the very least,
Yes.
you know that 45 doesn't even want you. We here in New Jersey, who pay the highest taxes in the country, he doesn't even want you to get
But
a
is
tax
that
write-off.
but is that New Jersey's problem? I mean, is that the 45th's problem? That New
But
Jersey's
45th
government runs in such a
the
way
45th,
that
you
our taxes
know-
are crazy?
No, but one of the things that he is doing across the board,
Right.
New Jersey and everywhere else,
Right.
is not to give you credit
Right.
for
well,
property taxes.
You know, you have a
And
lovely
we
home here
pay-
in South Orange. If this same home was in North Carolina, I bet your property taxes would be about $1,000 a year. You may not care about a property tax right
Well, I live in New Jersey, and right now, I'm worrying about what happened in New Jersey. Okay? I got friends that live
So-
in Atlanta that got houses much more sprawling than mine and don't even pay a quarter
Exactly.
of the taxes that I
Exactly.
pay.
So, New Jersey is set up in such a way where our property taxes are crazy. If let's just say the 45th is successful in moving forward his tax reform that eliminates the property tax deduction, so the rest, just because it impacts New Jersey so substantially, as well as New York and some, I guess more of your northern states, and you know he doesn't care about the northern states because. Did they support him?
No.
No.
But you know
But
what?
the rest of the country has reasonable rates for property taxes. Maybe they don't care.
The
So
South,
everybody
if you're
else
living
should
in a
suffer.
trailer, they don't care.
Right. But Governor Phil, gubernatorial elect Phil, gubernatorial elect
on the trailer
Kim
park.
Guadagno. Why are New Jersey's property taxes so high? Now I think I know part of the answer to that question. But I want to know, is it an issue for you, and how are we going to resolve it? That's in New Jersey. That's a local issue.
It's a New Jersey thing, and we're going to keep talking about the local issues.
Yeah.
You know what, Sora? I think we can end this for tonight.
You want to end this for tonight? You didn't even finish your wine.
Oh, I'm gonna finish.
You're
I'm gonna
just
finish.
finishing what?
I didn't want to do the back swallow right on camera.
Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. All right, so it was our pleasure to hang out with you in a different setting, and maybe we can do this a lot more often.
I
It's a
love
lot more
this night,
relaxed.
evening thing.
Yes, it was really nice. So, I'm Rosalind Charles,
And I'm Judge T.
and let's see us on Facebook,
Instagram,
or
Twitter.
YouTube, yes, YouTube and Twitter. And you do your line about subscribing on YouTube because a lot of people watch, but they don't hit subscribe.
Right there,
Yes,
right there,
they're
right
in
there,
the
right
corner.
there.
All right.
Thank you. We'll see you next week. And over the summer, sometimes we're going to be together, but we both need vacations.
Yes, we do.
And sometimes we'll be apart. I'm going to actually, on the 28th, I know, Sora, you'll be doing that show by yourself
Okay.
because I'll be taking my daughter to college. I'm already having issues.
Yes, all right.
And I know that some of you are planning your vacations, and you'll see us on tape or video. But either way you see us, just continue to stay engaged. Let's continue the conversation, even if they're not live. Send in your questions, www.sistersinlaw.com. We do have that page that we're still trying to, crystallize it and get it to a place where we're satisfied with it. But until then, we thank you for joining Sisters in Law with Judge T.
And Rosalind Charles.
We'll talk to you soon.